So, a topic that most of us forget about entirely, a topic that is maybe one of the most substantial topics of our existence, is simply where is our attention and our energy focused towards. And I'm not viewing this topic from the perspective of what are we thinking about or where are we shifting our mental energy towards. The perspective that I'm taking on today is mental energy as well as physical practice that requires to develop that skill and whatever it may be. This is such a unique part of our journey today because we are so overwhelmed by so many different aspects of the world that we live in, right? We are constantly being challenged by all sorts of advertising, by all sorts of marketing, by so many different distractions, so many personal distractions, as well as different distractions that are coming from other aspects of our lives, careers, professions, and essentially sales. People are constantly trying to grab our attention so that they can get us to purchase something, right? So that they can get us to spend money. It is a monstrous world, monster of consumerism, this world that we live in, right? It is this huge, gigantic machine that is just doing its thing without us being able to ever stop it. And the challenge for us is to not give in every single day, right? It is certainly fun to participate in that world, to purchase something and to enjoy it. However, the part of it that is difficult to manage is how much of that do we do, and how are we able to conserve our energy, conserve our power. So everything we're trying to do in this world, everything we're trying to achieve, everything that is worth achieving to begin with, requires time, requires effort. Everything requires energy and consistency. So in a world as we're getting our attentions pulled away from us constantly, and in a world of abundance where everything is a possibility, everything is a potentiality, it is so hard to devote time to one craft, right? And it is just too easy to try 10, 20 different things in the span of 1, 3, 5 years. And the unfortunate reality is you'll never get good at any of them. This is a sad truth that many societies of the Western world that are living through abundance, living through opportunities, that are living through wealth. And by wealth, I mean enough to give away, right? So you have enough to be able to give away, which therefore means that you also have enough to invest in yourself or in your own education or in the education of your loved ones. Having too much of that and just enough to be able to do too much for one day, it stops us from growth. Whatever it is that you're working on in your life shall not exceed the amount of work you can do cohesively and consistently in one day. By that, I mean, if we are focusing on, let's say, 4 different topics in our lives, this could be maybe athletics, maybe science, maybe second language, and sort of a meditation or mindfulness practice. If every single one of these things take 4 hours, and then on top of that, let's say you have a day job that takes another 4 hours or so, where you have now reached 8 hours, then maybe you could do more, but let's assume that you need a little bit of downtime, a little bit of recovery, a little bit of time for your nervous system to be able to comprehend just what happened that day, and to allow the learning to take place. Because the learning, just like going to the gym, the growth does not happen when you're at the gym. The growth happens as you recover from the experience of the gym. So one can argue that the time that you're not in the gym is almost just as crucial as the time that you did spend in the gym, and maybe even more. So same can be said about anything else that we're learning in our lives that takes mental power from you. If you exceed the amount of time you possibly could have had open in one day to devote to that art, to that craft, to that knowledge, shall we say, then it is impossible for you to be able to maintain a schedule where you're constantly juggling these things. Theoretically, we can say that you could do maybe 2 sessions per week, 3 sessions per week, and then the other 2 or 3 days you do something else. And if you just balance that out, you'll get twice as much done. Instead of 4 different tasks, you might be able to achieve 8. This is great theory. It's wonderful theory, and can of course be tested. The problem is the price that you'll pay if the testing does not go well is your life. The price you pay if an experiment does not result at all to anything of quality is the time that you wasted. And if the time you wasted happens to be some of your youngest, healthiest days on this planet, then those 6 months to that 1 year is quite painful, unfortunately. So less is more is really what I'm getting at. That was a very complicated way of saying that, but the descriptive outcome that we're after is less is more, because ultimately you are able to consistently achieve your goals, and in a long enough timeline you'll get so good at task A and B that then you can reduce the amount of focus you put on those and shift your focus on tasks C and D, and a little bit of maintenance on A and B, and with long enough timeline again, C and D are now built to your desire, shall we say, and you can move your focus to tasks E and F, and then you do maintenance work on C and D and A and B. So growth over time is what matters, right? Growth is not, it is constantly being misused by the world we live in to tell us that we should do more of everything and just more volume of everything, right? More of anything and more volume of everything. So spend more time playing the piano, spend more hours working out at the gym, spend more time signing up for different gyms, and then add another 12 different activities on top of all of those things. And the truth is that we have a capacity, physical and mental. The truth is that our capacity is a threshold we are constantly aware of. And so if we're constantly pushing the boundaries of that threshold, this does not happen without consequences. Okay? And if you're willing to take that risk, by all means you can. I'm incapable of stopping you. However, there are consequences that come out of that, such as feeling burnt out, such as physical injuries if this is a physical task, such as just feeling like you're lacking motivation, right? If burnout is more of a mental injury where you're just mentally disengaged, but the other side of it is that you have now shifted into this mundane state of existence where you are no longer alive. You just do things as they're told, as they've been told to you to do, right? You just do things without any brain power invested in any task, without any critical thinking, without any creativity. And this is not a quality way of life. This is not humanity at its best. If we look back from where we have come from, through evolutionary psychology and physiology, we have essentially evolved from devoting our lives to 1, 2, maybe 3 tasks per life, right? A man was maybe a warrior and a farmer. A man was maybe a warrior and a craftsmanship, right? We built things. We built wooden goods and swords and knives and things like that. And a woman was perhaps a gatherer and as well as a mom, right? So our tasks have always been minimalistic, and our goals have always been mastery within those tasks. This has brought us a tremendous amount of success in the way we have evolved as species, and it has also brought us a decent amount of mental health compared to the world we live in a severe mental health crisis with all of our abundance, all of our incredible healthcare system, all of our achievements. We shouldn't be in a world of mental health crisis, yet we are, right? And the truth of the past is people were sure getting sick from physical illness. People were sure dying maybe earlier than we do now. However, they lived far peaceful lives than we do today. So to recap the video, to conclude everything, the idea, the concept of devoting our lives to one task at a time, to reaching a certain level of black belt, shall we say, right? Before we move on to a different task. This is not only to serve ourselves, it does serve ourselves through a peaceful mind and a healthy body. It also boosts our confidence because now we know that we've completed proficiency in one task, and we can now shift that work ethics to something else. And it is for the greater good of actually making progress as a species, right? Because our goal is to not just try a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of the other. We're not celebrating a festival of food trucks. We're talking about mastery over the craft of cooking delicious meals, right? So in order to do that, we need to stay focused on one task at a time and accept that we will never be able to do everything in this world. Thank you all for watching.